that he was not red. The greatest trick the devil ever performed was Risk. Convincing me to do Risk.
Oh.
Officially not responsible.
And you see people, they think that he's like red. He's got a goatee and ponytail and stuff like that. He doesn't. He's very beautiful.
I think I know a little bit more about this than you do. He's very beautiful. Love that condescending.
He's very beautiful.
He's very beautiful.
I'm trying to think like how many weeks in a row of hearing that drop till it's not funny, and I can't think of a number. I think it's just that's going to be gold forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
It's a very beautiful drop.
Forever. It's in the new canon. Freedom! What's going on, Rob?
You want to be a part of the show? I want to let you know. You can dial not 646. That's our old.
You almost gave your phone number again.
The number is 213 Wide Nut. It's 213-943-3688.
I thought you got 30% of the way through your phone over there. I thought we had a shot.
I have a question for you. How often do you give your phone number a week that you make this mistake?
I haven't made this mistake in a while. It was, I don't know.
That was probably, a good 6 or 7 years ago that you did that on the air. And that's taken out, right?
At least that long ago.
Yeah.
I think longer than that.
I sure hope so.
Did we edit that out? I don't even remember.
I hope so.
We must have.
And,
Well,
Rob, people can go back in the archives all the time. Rob would still be getting phone calls.
It's on Spotify. Well, but I was going to say they wouldn't know, but we made a big deal out of it, the fact that he did it.
Yeah.
So they would know. Someone, like a bunch of people did call while we were sitting there doing the show, right?
I think a couple.
When he gave his number out on the air. A bunch of people
Did
called.
someone send you dick
Someone sent a dick pic, yeah.
Actually, now I understand the post on our Facebook page. We asked our live customers to introduce themselves, and someone wrote, "I'm the one who sent Rob the Andy dick pic."
But there was a joke Andy dick pic, but wasn't there a real dick pic?
Rob,
do you remember?
I believe there was.
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
No.
That was AL from Death was with us while that happened, I think. Doth. Why did I say Death? Sorry. I said AL right, the hard part.
Yeah, that's why. Your tongue was all twisted.
And
you need to roll your R.
He came in from the Alpog.
Oh, God.
I feel like I can't even do that anymore because Aaron Cohen does it so
Yeah, he's
well.
nailed it. He's like,
Mishugi.
Once again, he's killed one of our characters by doing it much better.
Okay.
But we'll allow it.
I can't wait to go to Israel and call you while you're doing the show with an actual Israeli person.
Oh, yeah.
And just make them talk in Hebrew.
Yeah, ask people the directions to the airport and see how many different people you can get to say airport.
What time will it be there?
7 hours ahead.
You're going to be asleep. You're not going to still be awake.
2 in the morning.
I'm going to be partying.
They don't do that in Israel.
Yes, they do.
Busy studying the Torah.
Oh, my
and
God.
the Talmud.
Stop thinking that Israeli people are Orthodox Jews.
They are.
So you've never studied the Torah?
Studied it? Never.
You ever read it?
Been around it or forced to read it? Yes, in 2nd grade.
Ever kill a water bug with it? It's very big and heavy.
Have you ever unrolled the Torah and had a water bug?
Oh my God! It's Elijah. He's come back in a different form.
We must never kill water bugs in this house because it could be the prophet Elijah coming back. We must put out breadcrumbs. All right. Like they call up the exterminator. We have a terrible Elijah problem in the house. Like Von Elijah, okay.
Once a month, we come in, we take care of Elijah. But you have to call for an appointment.
Ugh. It's like the people that come in and take out the chametz. You know about this?
What is that? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, around Passover.
Yeah, when you have Passover. Okay, so there's this whole process you have to go through that you have to remove all. It's called chametz. Anything that does not belong in your house during Passover.
Like roasted red pepper flavor, that kind of?
What?
Hummus.
Hummus. No, not hummus. Hummus.
It's a different thing.
It's a different thing. I know. They all
Hummus.
sound alike.
So it's tabbouleh?
Yes. It's no baba ganoush.
It's actually bread. It's like
Robin
anything
and-
with wheat in it, right?
Oh, I
Is
see.
it that, or it's a lot of things? I think that's one of them.
Well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, you're holding the bread there for another week. Just throw it out. Get
I
some
don't think
fresh
it's
bread.
just that because they have people like companies that come into your house and they're like hummus removers.
Maybe if
What do
this,
they do with
if
it?
we haven't scared off Israeli guy, you can send a
ask-
voicemail in and explain it.
Something like that. Is
But,
he even religious?
I think
No,
so.
but
I don't
but he
know.
would know about this.
Yeah. But right now, we go from Israel to Hamburg, Germany. As the Metal Injection Livecast is international. And we're using Skype to call our buddy
Oh, this
Hanno.
is great intro music.
What's up?
How's it going, Hanno? It's Rob. You're on the Metal Injection Livecast.
Hey, Wab, what's poppin'? How you doing?
Doing great. You got the New York accent down perfect. And and I am here with my co-hosts. I have Sid,
Hello.
Noah,
Hello.
and Darren.
Me.
Oh, 4 of you guys.
Yes, 4 New York Jews.
Oh, Jews?
Jews. That's right. We're like Seinfeld.
Okay. Okay, cool. I'm kidding. Yeah, well, hello to you guys. I don't know if we haven't met before, so
No, I don't
thanks
think
for
you've met
taking
any
the
of
time.
these people.
Thanks for having me.
The pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Hanno, for taking some time. You are in Hamburg. It's like pretty late out there right now, right? Isn't it?
Right now, actually, I'm in Bremen. That's a hometown where we born and raised in region I. So this is like, I'd say like 60 miles south from Hamburg.
Okay.
Yeah, but pretty much same thing, northern Germany.
Interesting. And it's like 1:30 in the morning there. It's not early.
That's correct. So I've been out all night drinking in order to stay awake because I'm like really lame. So when I don't drink, I go to bed like at fucking 9:30 or something. So I just been out and had a hard liquor in order to stay awake and talk to you guys.
Wow, I'm so honored that
I'm
you
so
would-
glad that we've contributed to the erosion of your liver.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. So Robert, one quick question. You're
Sure.
the same Robert we did the wrestling podcast. Is that
yes,
correct?
yes, you did an early episode of Squared Circle Pit. That's right.
In Juggalo Bob's house, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, gotcha.
That's
Because
me.
I saw your picture and I just wanted to make sure you're the same guy. Yo, great. Good to be back.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that.
That was a great episode of Squared Circle.
Did you reconnect with pro wrestling since then, or not really? No time.
With wrestling,
Yes.
I always do. There's pretty much no day I do not reconnect in any way with
Nice.
wrestling. But as I said back then, I do not care too much about modern wrestling.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, I follow you on Instagram, Robert. So I get reminded of a lot of great episodes in my life. Like we're talking like late '80s, early '90s stuff. And so that's my jam. You know, that's the wrestling I like. You know, I don't care about modern wrestling. It's legit, and I appreciate it or respect it, but it's not necessarily my interest. You know.
Well, I mean, do you like the entertainment, like the showmanship aspect of it, or do you like the actual wrestling part of it? Like, what is it?
Are we talking modern wrestling, or are we talking like wrestling 25 years ago?
Wrestling 25 years ago, the stuff that you actually watch.
Both actually. I really do like the sport aspect of it, and I also like the gimmicks, like the characters way better. Because on the one hand, they're way more primitive, way more one-dimensional, and on the other hand, they're so much more creative. You know,
Yeah.
I just something about it I really like. But on the other hand, the thing is, I've been a kid back then, and being like being a German kid in the early '90s, you grew up on like freaking like all the American movies and like the Western culture. Let's say wrestling, for instance. Like there's a split between Vanilla Ice, WWF, and Transformers, and just like great Rambo, even though that was a little earlier, but it was aired in the early '90s. So it was been a great time.
What's your favorite Vanilla Ice song?
Let me think. I can't even say which is my favorite song, but I like that Ice. That Ice. How it's called? Like
Ice Baby.
No, fuck that. I mean, it's great, but he has a live record. Most people don't. It's like To the Extreme. That's the regular record, and there's a live version of that record, which is pretty good.
Was that the one with the Play That Funky Music White Boy cover?
That was his second album. I thought.
But it's on it in a live version.
Okay. Huh. Could you imagine having gone to a Vanilla Ice concert? Like in 1991?
Well, I do not have to imagine it because I've been to a Vanilla Ice concert.
Tell us everything.
So I know exactly how it feels, and it was very sad because that was 2015 in Tampa, Florida.
Oh my God.
And it was just been as worse as you would think it is. It was really fucking sad. Oh my God. I swear to God, he paid people in order to party with him on stage. It was just really bad.
What did he pay them with? It couldn't have been money.
I heard, last thing I heard about Vanilla Ice, that he was like getting caught by stealing bikes from a random private people's like garage in Florida somewhere. And I respect that because that sounds like my lifestyle. And so probably, I don't know, he paid them with stolen bicycles. Which is a freaking hard currency here in Germany. Also Florida, where I lived for the last past years. But yeah, nothing better but the stolen bicycle.
So you moved to Florida for a while, and now you moved back to...
I spent like, like pretty much for the last 3-4 years, I'm based in Florida, yes. But I bought a house there, got married and all that stuff. It's legit.
Whoa.
Oh. Yep.
That's crazy. What part of Florida? Is it like the Tampa area, like around there, or?
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? Absolutely not. It's Gainesville.
Okay. All right.
It's small. Quiet it's it's more quiet. A lot of punk rock, which is a good thing, and not too much of a big city. And the outskirts are nice. So there's a lot of nature, a lot of gators, a lot of fishing. It's I'm not good with big cities.
I see.
So are you guys going to be touring with Less Than Jake anytime soon?
It's on. I'm actually on that tour while you're talking to me at this very moment.
Nice. I can tell you're into ska.
That's probably not going to happen. There's a limit.
They played with Bon Jovi. They're open to the metal.
Yeah, absolutely. Metal up your ass, Bon Jovi. And if you have Bon Jovi on the one side and Less Than Jake on the other, Mantar is in between.
Yeah.
That's a bill.
They have a
Bon
song.
Jovi, Less Than Jake.
Yeah.
Mantar.
They have a song called like All My Best Friends Are Metalheads. So they be your friend.
So tell me a little bit about your situation. So you're sitting on some sort of a radio station. What is this? I really have no idea. I'm not going to get informed by anything nowadays.
Very high tech studio.
We're beyond the radio. We're on the internet. We're live on the internet. People are listening now live, and then
that's still a thing, right? Internet.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
And then people can download it later and listen as well.
And the great thing with this show is that you can imagine us to be sitting anywhere.
Right.
It's up to
We're
your
sitting right next to you. Right.
Theater of the mind.
Not bad. I like that. That's good. Come close. And you were based in New York, right?
Yeah, we're in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
We're so based in New York that we don't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
That sounds very New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also want to mention Mantar has a new album coming out, which I'm really excited about. The Modern Art of Setting Ablaze. It's out August 24th on Nuclear Blast Records. And what I love about you guys, you're a 2-piece, but you sound like you're like a 5 or 6-piece. And you have a very explosive sound. And watching you live, you especially, because you're the only member of the band that's standing, you really have to bring the show. Because, I mean, it's you and a drummer. The drummer, I mean, he's a great drummer, but he's pretty confined to his immediate area. But you're bringing the rock.
Well, thank you. Yes, I guess now that you mentioned that, I should ask for more money than him.
Yeah, you're doing way more on stage.
He's sitting.
Well, you could get one of those drum kits that what's his name from Def Leppard had, where he had one arm, so he would just hit one pedal and 93 fills would come in, and then he could get
good news. Just got to chop off one of his arms. That's great. That's easy. We can top fucking Def Leppard and chop one of his legs and one of his arms.
I was just saying get the pedal, but you could chop his arm off.
I think you need
No,
a doctor's
you're right.
note.
We're two-piece. Nothing has changed. We're still a two-piece. And yes, the new record is coming, and it's been a lot of work. And this is actually the first record that we recorded in the United States. Actually, even though I've been living in the United States for quite some years now, we recorded and done everything for the band in Germany. But now we made the step and started producing and recording in the United States, and that was a good thing because. Therefore, I don't know. We just wanted to change the sound a little bit, not the general sound of the band, but we recorded the first and the second record pretty much in the rehearsal room here in Germany. So we thought it was a good thing to come to Florida and record it there, and I really do like. I'm satisfied, and
where did you record it?
Things turned out.
What was the studio that you recorded in?
The Black Bear Studios in Gainesville. A lot of punk rock memories, like Hot Water Music and those kind of bands. I don't know anything about that kind of music, but I heard it's very legend in that small town.
And in America in general, those bands were national bands.
Yes,
R Against Me, Less Than Jake, Hot Water Music, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I hear that from my friends in Gainesville. To be honest, I do like punk rock a whole lot, and punk rock got me into metal music, but that's not necessarily my jam. I have a different kind of punk rock kind of, like
the dirty punk.
No doubt. That's
You're just all about going.
Yeah, exactly, no doubt.
What's your vibe right now? What do you listen to now? Do you still listen to dirty music, or do you have to change it up since you're, playing hardcore and metal or whatever right now?
Well, right now, to be very honest, I'm just very, very back to what I was brought up with, which is just like mainly classic rock. I still listen to. I got a huge ass AC/DC tattoo just all above my skinny ass body yesterday, all above my belly. And then that's pretty much what I listen to. I listen to AC/DC. I like Thin Lizzy. I like ZZ Top, all that kind of stuff. And on the other hand, I spend all my nights pretty much searching for super raw, primitive black metal music with like 124 hits for the last 11 years on YouTube, stuff like that. Like something between that. That's what I listen to.
If the view count is over 300, you're not going to consider.
No fucks giving. That's fucking mainstream.
That's cool. Do you have a preference for AC/DC vocalist?
Funny thing is, a lot of people, or that conversation happens quite often. A lot of people ask that, but I personally, when I got into AC/DC, I was maybe like 6 years old, and I bought every AC/DC tape I could get my hands on a flea market. And it took me, to be very honest, some years to even understand that there's two different vocalists, because I was like a kid, literally like children. So and when I started buying all those tapes, usually like Blow Up Your Video, Fly on the Wall, that kind of stuff, that was just the cheaper tapes, and therefore I'm probably, and I know that it's not a very cool thing to say, but I was very used to Brian Johnson,
Yeah, Brian Johnson is a very capable vocalist.
Do you remember the first tape that you ever got, and how old were you?
I was 6 years old, and it was actually two tapes. It was like Highway to Hell, of course, and even way more important to me, If You Want Blood, You've Got It. That's still, to this very day, is my favorite record in the whole world, and the most important, and had the most impact on me, because I immediately understood that this is great rock and roll music, but on the other hand, playing rock and roll music live is a whole different beast. And then that actually made me pick up a guitar when I was, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something like that. Of course,
Who was the one that got you that tape? Because at 6 years old, you're not going to a record store and buying yourself music.
No, we're talking flea market, and it was my dad. He had a very strong flea market face where he pretty much bought everything and tried to make some money with bullshit. And once he bought like 2 big boxes of tapes, and there were everything in there, like Beatles, Rolling Stones, Suzy Quattro, all that kind of stuff. Status Quo and shit like that, and also AC/DC. And I swear to God, it was like probably 400 tapes, and I listened to every single tape.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I threw them all in the corner and didn't give a shit except for Highway to Hell and If You Want Blood. And I kept the Nazareth tapes for the cool cover monster artwork.
Interesting. So 2 of your favorite albums are AC/DC's live album and Vanilla Ice's live album. You like the raw live sound.
I would say it's one of my favorite albums, the Vanilla Ice thing. But what I'm saying is just like when you're 9 years old or something like that, you're in fucking heaven, getting into the world of professional skateboarding on television, professional wrestling, and Vanilla Ice, and still loving AC/DC. It's a good life.
Yeah.
Yeah. A well-rounded 6-year-old, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's hail to the Western world.
How do you feel about Axl Rose now as the AC/DC singer? Have you had a chance to see it at all? Like, were you playing any festivals with them, or?
I heard that a lot of my friends were just as diehard AC/DC fans that I am. Saw it, and they were very, very satisfied. They said it was way better, much better than they thought. And they weren't disappointed at all. They all said, I don't know what your opinion is about this, but they all said that he did a great job. I honestly gotta be, when I heard it's Axl Rose and it's not Brian Johnson, I gave back my tickets. That's what I did. I gave back my tickets because I did not want to see it. And I think it's cool that the people liked Axl Rose and stuff like that, but I just didn't want to see it because I saw AC/DC unfortunately only once in 2008, and that was one of the best days in my life, and I cried like a freaking baby. And I just didn't want to even get close to the chance that I may ruin that. So I gave back those tickets I had.
I appreciate your passion for Brian Johnson there, and I completely understand it.
It's not only Brian Johnson; it's my passion for AC/DC actually. But then, and I'm glad that people liked it. But you know, it was without Malcolm, it was without Brian and stuff like that. I don't know if I have to see that. You know, even though I'm happy that people like it, I'm really, really happy about that. But for me, I did not need to see that.
If I can just share something with you. So I was a huge Guns N' Roses fan growing up, like obsessively, like just an obsessive fan. And I was always like too young to go to their concerts. I finally went to the like first reincarnation of Guns N' Roses with like Buckethead. And like I went to see that and it killed it for me. And my obsession with Guns N' Roses was done. Not that Buckethead or all of them were bad musicians, just it wasn't the band that I was so like craving to see.
You didn't see them with Metallica?
No.
Oh.
I was too young for that. And like I don't have anyone to take me to that.
Oh, okay.
So good on you for not going.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but just I felt, you know, it was not the right thing to do. And as said, I had tickets, I gave them to friends that were happy, and I just, like, you know, I kind of don't want to see it. It's just, you know, it's too, seriously, it sounds stupid, but it's just like too freaking holy and important to me, so I didn't want to see it.
Totally get it.
Is that the same reason you didn't see the all-female Ghostbusters?
Who, me?
No, Hanno.
Oh. See, I did see that.
Funny thing, because I just literally, when I was talking like with my friend today while we had booze in order to stay up so long in order to make this interview, we were talking about the Ghostbusters. Really funny. Like that was a big topic tonight that we've been talking about. But I did not see that movie, and it's not because I'm anti-ladies or whatsoever. But I didn't care for it.
You're not missing anything.
The ladies being in it was the least of the problems with the movie. It wasn't the fact that they were women. It was a horrible movie.
Honestly, I don't see a lot of movies, to be very honest. You know, I just I like movies a whole lot, but I never go to the movies because I hate cinemas. The concept of sitting with other people in a room and watching a movie is like pretty much my worst nightmare.
Same.
I really don't like people. Just gotta be honest with you.
But then, how is that different from a concert?
Yeah, that's right. How do you deal with the people there?
Oh, usually I am on stage and I come. That's different.
So is that the real reason you didn't go see AC/DC with Axl Rose? You just didn't want to be around other people?
Got me there.
Good job, Sid.
Too many people.
Parser strikes again.
Well,
no, I don't like movies as much as I like music. That's a fact.
Well, we have to agree with you there. Hannah, thank you for taking some time.
Yeah, and for staying up and drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I'm good in that.
I want to again mention the new album, The Modern Art of Setting Ablaze. It's out August 24th. We just posted the new music video from you guys. It rips. You're going to be touring all over Europe this fall with Skeleton Witch. You got a bunch of festivals coming up next month. You're a busy guy.
That is correct. And we're working very hard to come back to the United States. It's on time, but we're still looking for the perfect time frame to do that. And yeah, but I can't wait to be back. The United States always been very good to us. And yeah, spread the word. And I hope there's going to be some people who are looking forward for us coming over again.
I am definitely one of those people. I will actually leave my house to go see Mantar
Awesome.
because I love seeing Mantar. You guys are great live.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a great night, Hanno.
You too. Thank you, Robert, and the rest of the gang. It was fun to talk to you.
The same.
Yeah.
It was very fun
Thank
talking
you.
to you as well.
Same.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Lovely fella, that
Be
Hanno.
the same.
Once again, The Modern Art of Setting Ablaze. It's out August 24th on Nuclear Blast Records.
I can play a song from them.
We'll link it in the
You
show
know what
description.
I like? I like when we have people from bands and like maybe I haven't necessarily listened to them before the interview, but like after talking to them, I'm like, wow, I really want to support this guy because he's so cool.
Oh, like Jason Newsted, right? That was a good one.
I heard of Jason Newsted before. I mean, I was
Oh.
listening to his music before. What are you saying? I don't get it. Wait, was
It's like
he
that
Russo?
you wanted, he was joking with you, and you sincerely answered him.
Oh.
It's a comedy show. No, come on, try to keep up. Cha cha.
So I want to mention what Blandington mentioned, Clive Blandington at the top of the show.
All right.
And why did we have Clive do the intro and not
Chuck
Blancy?
had
Chuck is under the weather.
Yeah,
He's
Chuck's got
laryngitis.
Coxsackie.
Oh, Coxsackie was
Chuck
it?
Sack.
It's going around.
He's got Chuck
Chuck
Sack.
Sack.
Chuck Sacky.
He stretched his sacks.
He's got rust all over his hand, foot, and mouth.
Oh.
Oh.
But so Disturbed, they've finally completed a new record. It's
Oh.
actually all Simon and Garfunkel covers now.
I thought you were saying it's Alzheimer's and Garfunkel.
Alzheimer's and Garfunkel. Oh no.
Just an album about their Alzheimer's and dementia.
I have to say this, and I just want to give you a little behind the scenes for my Drain Men drops. I have all this different types of drops, like Sid, Rob, Noah, whatever, are on a different little folder. When I go to somehow my computer merged all of my Drain Man drops with all of my fart drops. And I don't know how, but it's completely appropriate.
I love it. But so they just finished their new record, which to me is kind of comical because I feel like when they did their last record, they were like, this is going to be our last record for a while. We're not breaking up.
Right.
We're just going to go on a hiatus and whatever. And it was like 3 years ago. So it wasn't even that long ago.
They were a little exhausted from yelling at people to get off their phones
Yeah.
during all the shows.
Which for newer listeners, about 2 years ago, because they haven't toured for 2 years. So they put out the album and then toured for a year, and they're like, we're taking a break, which is bullshit. I mean, they did take a break. But anyway,
You're like arguing with yourself now.
But anyway, it's a combination of the bong rips I took and the caffeine just hitting me, so I'm like super hyper right
Nice.
now.
Come on, Rob. Have an internal struggle.
It's Rob versus Rob tonight on the Livecast.
But so 2 years ago, they were doing a show, and there was a woman in the balcony, visibly texting on her phone, and in between songs, David D. Rainman, being Mr. Ego,
Wait, he saw all the way to the balcony? I thought she was in front of him in the front row.
She was in front of the front of the balcony.
Yeah, it was like one of those balconies that wrapped around, so it was like close to the stage, like relatively close to the stage.
Oh
just like
my goodness!
So what I'm assuming, he didn't see the phone. He didn't see the phone, but he saw like the glow on her face, probably, and he called her out. And then this woman posted on social media that it was actually an emergency because I forget exactly what it was, but it was something about her daughter. Yeah, like it was something about her daughter. And like it was a very valid reason that she had for being on the phone, and just exacerbated the point that like, fuck you, David D. Rain, man. They can do whatever they want.
Right.
Like,
but you know what? Even if it wasn't important, she's allowed to look at her fucking phone.
Free
you
country.
fucking dipshit.
But anyway, flash forward 3 years now. They just completed their new record. I know a lot of our listeners are really excited about that.
Can't wait.
And in this weird marketing thing, they're like, we want you to pick our first single. That's like the headline. And I'm like, what? How are they?
Because the record label won't return our calls. Because somebody has to choose.
Well, my initial thought was like, wait, so you're just going to let people listen to a few songs, like a few new songs?
No, you have to choose from the name.
No, it's not even that.
What is it?
You choose. Well, first of all, they're like, we have many different styles of music on the new album
Klezmer.
that we like for you to choose. Imagine.
Why not?
Some disturbed klezmer.
Yeah.
What would that sound like there?
Hey, Tito.
Tito, wah!
Oh, Tito.
What?
Well,
Tito.
What?
now you're just throwing up. You got some upchuck on your mic, Rob.
Hello, Mezuzah, my old friend.
Well, didn't like Orphan Land use all those like Celtic?
Oh yeah, no, there's plenty of bands, but Disturbed. But anyway, so they were saying they got many different styles on the record, and they want you to pick. And the many different styles that you get to choose from are heavy or ballad.
Just those two.
Just those are the many different. Like two is not many. Two is just a pair.
One.
Oh, pretty heavy.
It's pretty
more
heavy.
dance.
Yeah, dancey but heavy.
This whole gimmick makes no sense to me. Because you got to figure the people voting are like the real diehard fans.
Yes.
And those are the people who give the least amount of a fuck about what the single is because they're getting the whole album anyway.
Oh, well, what I was going to say, they're never going to vote for who's going to vote for the ballad? Who wants a ballad?
And
they
also
just
like
want the same thing they listen to all the time because they have terrible taste in music.
and like the first single off an album is supposed to be sort of like a marketing thing to get the most people to buy it.
Yeah.
And why are you letting your diehard fans decide that? Shouldn't like a marketing person just like
well, you nailed it. They won't return their call.
Yeah,
well, but also though,
they're
barely letting anybody decide anything. They're like, oh, pick a heavy song or pick a ballad.
Well,
so
they
that's
probably have two songs there between, and that's just how they're not going to upload the MP3.
Yeah.
So one's a ballad, one's a heavy.
Bullshit.
Or maybe like they did meet with the record label, and the record label's like, listen, your biggest hit was this Simon and Garfunkel cover. We want you the single to be a song that sounds like that because that's what everybody wants from you now. And they're like, no, we're a heavy band. We want a heavy song. Watch, our fans will prove it to you. They're all going to vote for the heavy song. And that's why they're doing this. It's just like to prove the point to the label.
Oh, boy.
Because I really don't understand the point of it otherwise.
I don't understand the point of Disturbed at
Well,
all. But
yeah. He's got to pay the bill somehow.
pretty good. I like that. Oh, this is the ballad.
This is the ballad?
Okay.
Wait, Jared, did you ever go see Roger Clark's band?
No, we didn't go that day. Some other stuff came up.
If you saw Roger Clark's band, we want to hear from you. 213 Wide Nut. That's 213-943-3688. And of course, if you listen via the archives, you could always email us with any comments, criticisms, or questions at hatemail@metalinjection.net. Or if you're technologically savvy, record a voice memo with your phone and email that to hatemail@metalinjection.net, or use our SpeakPipe widget on the main page of our website, metalinjection.net/livecast.
Okay.
And speaking of promotions, gone awry, marketing ideas.
It's a gonorrhea.
Yeah.
Marketing
I was like,
ideas gonorrhea.
What is he gonna say?
Well, I don't know if you saw. So
Did you ever
Target.
have gonorrhea?
Have I ever had gonorrhea?
Has
No.
anyone ever had an STD? Do we ever ask
No.
ourselves that question?
I have not.
I haven't.
That I know of.
Should probably.
Crab?
Should we all?
No.
Should we all go and get tested together?
Well, let's rub our
I'll
privates
check our
against each other
status.
first. So whatever one of us has,
Maybe we should be
everybody has.
blood brothers.
Oh.
A lot of people think you get coxsackie from being a blood brother, but
Well.
you don't.
Ha! No, you didn't answer the question.
No, I've never had an STD.
Darren,
Too paranoid.
we're all clean.
I don't know if that's what I would call me, but
Well,
most
in that
part.
way, yeah,
Free
you're
of
not
disease,
contagious.
at least.
Well,
yeah,
better than
no
nothing.
VD for me.
Leroy is just chomping at the bit to call in and say that you don't wash your hands after shitting, since you said you're clean.
What's stopping him?
We were asking before the show, Leroy. I know you're listening. Why you chose Leroy as your pen name,
Your pseudonym.
your pseudonym?
Oh yeah, that's right. We were discussing that before. Well, we know why he uses a pseudonym, but how did he choose
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
Leroy?
Right, like why Leroy?
That's not his real name.
So please call up and answer that question, or don't.
Or El Duderino, if you want to call up and explain for him, that's fine too. Since we already know why you chose El Duderino.
A funny thing in the chat here. My mom's from Iran. My dad's from Russia. I'm gone Aria.
Who did that one?
Coming in a Dorito bag.
Oh.
Who is that? Someone who was a regular or I don't remember.
In the Discord.
I know he's there all the time, but I mean someone with like how Eggers is Cutman Crothers.
I'm not sure.
He actually emailed me, but he said he has not called in. He's only been on the chat. But yeah, so with marketing, so Target opened in the East Village of Manhattan. And for those of you who don't remember the old New York,
I miss it.
that's where CBGB's was. It opened like a 10-minute walk from where CBGB's was.
10 minutes? Where is it? Just so for New York.
Avenue
where-
A and 14th.
Whoa.
Wow.
Or Avenue, yeah, between Avenue A and
That's where the Target is.
First
not the
Avenue.
CBGBs,
Yes.
Just to be clear.
right.
Wow.
CB's was on Bowery
Yeah,
and
like
like
second,
yeah, like
around
fourth,
there.
something like that. So anyway, CBGB's also, for the record, has been closed for
a long time.
at least 10 years now.
Yeah, thereabouts.
And so Target opened the store, and their whole thing is for the launch of the store. So the store is in a new building, like a condo development. And the first floor is a Target. And
A condo development that no one can afford to live in unless you come from like.
I do want to point out that I remember like, because I'm in that area all the time, it was like shitty old ass buildings. So all of those people had to have been displaced
Oh yeah.
for this condo to be built. So that's already shitty,
Right.
but whatever. And then so this Target opens on the first floor, and then they had a brilliant idea to have a marketing thing to like pay tribute to the history of the East Village, and it completely backfired on them. So the main thing that they did was they recreated the CBGB's awning, like if you've ever seen a photo of CBGB's,
Right.
the classic storefront awning with the country style font.
Mhm.
But instead of CBGB, it says TRGT, fucking dyslexic. And then under it says bands instead of whatever those letters were under CBGB.
OMFUG.
Yeah. Why? Well, why does it say bands? What does that have to do with Target?
So the joke was that there was like Band-Aids and like anything the Target sells that has the word band in it. But the
So
thing,
just Band-Aids.
anyway, hold on.
Headbands.
Headband, yeah, like bullshit like that. But the thing is, they weren't even selling anything. It was just like, oh, look, remember CBGB's? Here's the awning, but with a Target logo. And then there was also in the store, there's a big mural,
Mural.
a mural
Mural Hager. My
with all
favorite singer.
with all of the things that like East Village is known for. Like there was like a Ukrainian thing, and
Ah.
Heroin needles.
What's the
probably.
URL where we can see this mural?
and like people are so pissed. And to me, I'm like, what are you pissed about? So this one guy, Jeremiah Moss, called it the most deplorable commodification of local neighborhood culture I've ever witnessed.
Who is this person saying? Who is it? Who are you?
Yeah.
I get why
local
this
blogger.
is a little bit obnoxious. I really do, but I don't think it's like to be that upset about it.
Like so.
Well, what's upsetting to me about it is that some head of the marketing department at
Yeah.
Target thought about this concept in a boardroom.
Right. I completely agree with that.
I
don't think
don't.
It's like authentic, like really to like pay tribute. This is a large corporation; they don't give a shit.
CBGB sold their rights to like Vegas.
Right.
Here, that's the thing.
Right.
Like people are like, "Oh, you've taken this holy memory of the East Village and you've corrupted it." And I'm just like, no, CBGB's has corrupted that memory for 10 years now. There's a CBGB's themed restaurant in Newark Airport.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Like,
CB's didn't serve food.
yeah.
So how is it? It doesn't even make sense.
Right.
Also,
It doesn't fucking match.
I don't get it.
also, CBGB's was a capitalist.
Don't fucking match.
CBGB's is was a capitalist enterprise. It wasn't free to get in. You had to fucking pay to get in. And guess what? Those beers, they were overpriced.
Yeah,
They were there to make money.
Well, if I might put on my psychoanalyst,
sure,
hat,
play the devil's advocate.
I don't think they're really like when someone. First of all, I'm not defending that guy because that was a little bit over the top what he said. But I think that when people make that argument, like how can Target come in here and dissolve my memory of, they're not really. Well, at the same time, they're not defending CBGB's or saying that CBGB's was not commercialized.
Uh-huh.
I think they're just saying this is my memory of it, and I don't want it soiled by the next company coming
Just like
in.
Hanno didn't want AC/DC soiled by
Right.
Axel.
Like
But that area has already like the argument is long gone. It's
that makes
done.
them more sensitive to it. The fact that they live around this stuff all day, and it's not I miss the old New York, and another
It's totally that. Yeah,
it's
like
another iteration of it. I think people have this really over glorified version of what New York used to be like. It wasn't that fucking great.
It's like appropriating neighborhood icons. Come on, get over it.
I mean, let me put it this way. I've lived in New York all my life. I love New York. I loved it back then, and I love it now. And there's a lot of things I fucking hate about it, too, that are annoying, and things back then that were annoying. Times change. Fucking get over it. Like, New York has always been the absolute world center of the capitalism and commercialism.
Mm-hmm.
Like, since it became a city. Since we stole it from the fucking, I shouldn't say Indians. Let me say Native Americans. Since we stole the land, it's been the center of commercialism. So that's, I mean, if you don't not incorporating that already into your old memory of New York, then you're delusional to begin with.
And it's also constantly changing and evolving. You could just stand still on any corner in Manhattan, and there will be every age group telling every next age group, man, if you had only been here when I was a kid, it was so much better. And it's every year there's some more people.
But also the East Village was not. It was a dump.
It was a dump.
Yeah,
and it's one of the few areas that still is relatively a dump.
I don't know.
In
Maybe
Manhattan.
around Lower East Side, maybe.
What?
That's why I said relatively. I mean, obviously, they're bringing
it's
targets.
like it's here's in that guy. He's a writer for the Village Voice, which I mean, already you're kind of mad.
So it's definitely a 60-year-old guy that's about to tell us why everyone under 60 is horrible.
Well, he goes, the Hollywood set fantasy included a life-size backdrop of tenements photo printed on vinyl sheets, which that I think is kind of fucked up. They had a recreation of the old buildings that were on that block, like covering the fucking expensive condo to be like, hey, remember, it's like the old New York, which is just like, all right, that's I will give them that. That is tacky.
Oh, the whole thing's tacky.
Yeah,
I don't disagree
yeah.
with that at all.
And then he goes, there's a fake stoop on which a hip-hop dancer wore a Target bandana tied around his thigh, red Target branded buckets for imitating bucket drumming sidewalk buskers, and a red newspaper kiosk that looked a lot like the ones that used to carry the Village Voice, RIP, print edition.
Oh, really?
They don't do the print edition
That
anymore.
I didn't know.
Inside the
I miss
store,
the old Village Voice.
inside the store, painted on an East Village themed mural above the cash registers, were the words NYC New Yorkers and Poets Cafe.
Okay.
And then he goes, as neighborhood appropriation goes, creating a crass and cynical simulation of the local New York streetscape is bad enough. I wouldn't say it was cynical.
It's very cynical.
It's
I think
cynical in the way all marketing is cynical.
Yeah.
And
But-
also, like, does he think that this actually worked on a single person? Because if not, then why even get upset at a failed marketing attempt? Like,
Yeah,
is he saying
clearly.
they weren't manipulative enough. Like, what's the problem? If it's a shitty thing that failed, then good. Shut up about it. Why you bring more attention to it?
He goes, worse yet, it's this very ecosystem that is being erased block by block by the presence of chain stores like Target, as well as by big developers like its landlord. But again, there was nothing on that area. That area was just like a bodega, like bodegas and like laundromats. That's what.
Well, I think there was also like a lot of culture there and stuff. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, I mean, can't get too exercised about all this stuff.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Times change.
And at least to remind maybe people like, wait, what are they marketing? What is this supposed to be? Oh, there was a concert venue. Who played there? Let me look in. Like, what's the negative?
Here,
Is somebody going to walk in there thinking Agnostic Front is waiting for them? Like, what is the down? Like, who cares?
Yeah, someone who just wants like on sale garbage bags or
towels.
whatever. Yeah, or towel exactly. Chris Stein of Blondie even commented, saying the marketing stunt was grotesque on the level that it's an attraction that will seduce people. It's a false god.
Oh, for fuck's
And
Well,
it's here,
yeah.
and it's the antithesis of what the club stood for: freedom and individuality.
Stop.
Come
That's taking it too far. Like when you start out by saying that,
Oh, if you wait, let me finish so you hear how far he takes it. Target is just mass cheap appeal. It is massive conformity.
okay, what have you done in the last 30 years? Fucking Blondie.
Other than sad reunion tours with the corpse of Debbie Harry.
Signing at a car wash.
Yeah, like, this is just sad.
I don't like. I do like. I agree with the underlying premise of what they're saying. Like, I do think this is really like shitty pandering from a company that's really has nothing to doesn't give a shit about that neighborhood. And I do think there was some life and character to that neighborhood that was awesome. And there's I can understand someone being kind of wistful about it, like that. Oh, now this fucking Target's here. Like if it was stopped there, I would agree with them.
Also, there's been a Kmart in that neighborhood
Right,
for like 20
exactly.
fucking years.
But I can understand. I do. I will. I'm not saying like there should never be stores there.
Yeah.
I'm saying like when I feel like what Target did in this store is kind of rubbing the residents' nose in it a little bit. Like, hey, your neighborhood's really cool. Look at all these things that we're replacing that used to be here, and we're gonna put up like some wallpaper of it. You know, that's kind of a shitheel thing. But
I also
to be that angry about it,
yeah.
it really doesn't.
In
like,
1996, sure, but I feel like we have bigger fish to fry in 2018 than to be mad at a Target ad campaign.
there were probably bigger fish to fry in 1996 too.
Also true, but especially now.
Mhm.
And also, like, I feel like if you can still afford to live in that neighborhood now, then you're probably not someone who has any right to get mad at
Right.
the
Yeah.
gentrification of that neighborhood.
Well,
Unless
That's a
you've been
pretty
living
expensive-
there and your family just keeps passing down the apartment for like over 30 years.
Even then, fuck you for getting such a great deal. I'm jealous and I hope bad things happen to you.
Oh,
Fucking rent control motherfuckers. Give me an apartment like that.
Mingos.
Let me, put me in that spot to be mad.
You
Like
want
cheap
to be a
ass apartment for
Neo-Rican?
decades.
You want a mural of you in that Target?
Sure.
If he gets to pay $600 a month for rent,
Seriously,
Yeah, right.
Fuck's sake.
Fucking Sid wearing a Kangol hat, eating tres leches.
Break dancing on a piece of cardboard. I'll
being
do it.
perni-
Yelling
my
at his
God.
kid, like yelling at his kids. And Papi, why you listening to Cynic? The fuck? Fuck out of here. It don't fucking match.
Can you imagine Sid with that kind of
Just Sid breakdancing is so funny to me. I wish I knew like 3D rendering to do like
Yeah,
a instead of a
GIF,
dance. Yeah, like
a
instead
GIF
of a
of Sydney.
dancing baby, a dancing Sydney
in a tracksuit?
tracksuit and Kangol hat.
You eating carrots? Carrots?
You lucky you're still breathing. Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here.
That's me now.
Deuterino notes Big Bodega was Rob's nickname in high school. I'll take it. I like bodegas. I'm a big
Let
fan.
me express myself.
All right. What else we got? Speaking of politics, this ad, I can't believe it. No, you sent it over.
Mm-hmm.
You sent it over.
I was gonna say, what happened there?
Things to be concerned about.
Don't match. So this Florida
He's running for governor.
governor fella.
Did he run around with his ass out on Borat's
Yeah.
show?
Give it. Maybe there's a few weeks left. Possible.
Oh yeah, wait. So very quickly, I watched Who Is America with my dad,
Oh God.
and he was just like, "This is not real. Like they know it's a joke." And I'm like, "No, Dad, they don't know it's a joke. They think this is like,
Yeah.
they think this is like a real, like some kind of like prestigious interview." And okay, so he was like laughing at some of the things, but we got to that interview with the Israeli guy teaching that Congress, was he a congressman?
He was a state representative,
State representative.
I believe.
I think his name was Jason something, right?
Sudeikis?
Yes, that's it.
No.
But anyway,
Yeah. So when the guy took his butt out, my dad just got up and just made a beeline for the exit.
Really?
He was-
Why?
Well, he thought it was ridiculous and he thought it was fake. And I'm like, no, Dad, that's Fox News. That's Fox News telling you to say that. That's not, this is real. This is how these people think. So finally, like, there was like a little bit of a breakthrough because he's like, okay, well, if they really think that toddlers should have guns, then they're idiots. They're stupid. So I feel good about that, guys.
That your dad isn't completely like Fox News crazy. There's still some humanity in there.
Yeah, there's like a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But you said your mom liked the show?
She saw. I don't think she actually watched the show. I don't think she has Showtime, but she must have seen the Roy Moore clip from this week, and she thought it was pretty funny until
What
I
happened?
pissed all over it. He was the Israeli character, and he's interviewing Roy Moore. This was, I think, before the election, so it was still like candidate Roy Moore, and he was telling him about how Israel has developed this new technology, and it was like a metal detector wand, but he said that it can tell if you're a pedophile or not. And it'll buzz if you're a pedophile. And he waves it all over himself. He waves it all over like one of the cameramen,
Nice.
and nothing. And then
well, he
obviously-
accidentally like waves it in Roy Moore's direction,
Yeah.
and it goes off.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, this must be
Yeah.
broken."
I didn't need to calibrate it or whatever.
Yeah, and then he brings over a crew member, and it's it's
Oh.
quiet
Yeah.
for that guy.
And then Roy Moore leaves. End of scene.
yeah.
So is this before like the news broke out about him and that woman? Like,
No,
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 it was
no.
after.
It was after
Oh,
that.
it was after.
Obviously, they wouldn't have
Oh.
known to do that otherwise.
Yeah.
But
so
like,
that's pretty
obviously, Roy
obvious.
Moore like pretty instantly realizes that this is a gag and just is like, all right, fuck this,
Yeah.
I'm leaving. So there's no like wacky escalation or him
Right.
trying to defend himself or anything. He's just like, all right, I'm out. And that was sort of like the highlight of the episode.
Everyone knows my husband.
All right.
Everyone knows my husband
Please
Ron
mute
DeSantis
this.
is endorsed.
What is
Oh.
that?
Stupid
Ad?
Twitter video. This is the
Oh,
so
okay.
this is the commercial that we were for. Oh my god, this is scary
Okay.
for the governor's race in Florida.
Everyone knows my husband Ron DeSantis is endorsed by President Trump, but he's also an amazing dad. Time with the kids.
Build the wall.
He reads
playing with the kids is like him and a toddler
Baby.
with like these play bricks building a wall in their bedroom.
Yeah. And notice how she says that he's more than just like a Trump guy. And then
He's
what happens in the
also a
commercial?
dad.
My husband, Ron DeSantis, is endorsed by President Trump,
Listen.
but he's also an amazing dad. Ron loves playing with the kids.
Build the wall.
He reads
Yeah, that's
stories.
That's a good question. He's endorsed by Trump, but he's also an awesome dad.
It's like I think she's saying you don't. No, it's not like
There's
either
more to him
or.
than
yeah,
just that.
you
There's
only
more to
know
him than just
you
Trump.
know his public persona is awesome
I
because Trump
see.
likes him.
Right.
Mm.
Makes sense.
Listen, I think this is good marketing because it's obvious they know exactly how stupid their voters are and
Uh-huh.
exactly how to pander to those morons.
Well,
Yes,
oh, hold
people
on.
of Florida.
all right.
Let's just get through this.
He reads stories.
Then Mr. Trump said, "You're fired." I love that part.
He was reading The Art of the Deal to the baby.
To like a little tiny baby.
That's a good way to get votes by saying you side with employers that put people out of work.
He's teaching Madison to talk.
Make America great again.
People say Ron's all Trump, but he is so much more.
Oh,
The ad is all Trump.
yeah.
though.
That's
He's
the
only
joke.
Trump.
Is this
That's it.
like
This
tongue
whole,
in
the whole
cheek,
ad is
or-
how much he likes Trump.
That's the joke.
That's
Yeah.
their form of joking. Like,
Yeah.
they're saying, "Oh, he's so much more," but all the more stuff is also Trump
Yeah.
stuff.
Wait.
I
you
think it's
she was-
intentional.
that
Am I
lady
being
does-
triggered?
That lady didn't write the
Sounds like-
fucking copy.
Right.
His-
And then the
her
baby
husband
has
had
a
said, "Here, read this in front of the camera." And she said, "Okay."
No, it's a wink joke, but it's
Yeah.
just
Big
still
league.
dumb because
So
it's
good.
in
I
defense
just
of
thought
Trump.
you should know.
Ron DeSantis.
Or not in defense of Trump, but it's like
If you
acting like
The
being
graphic says
associated with
r-
Trump is a good thing,
If you're a Republican right now, it is.
right?
If you want to win your election, you sort of have to.
So the graphic says Ron DeSantis, conservative warrior.
if you go to his
Listen to me, Donald Trump.
Well, the ultimate.
I
warrior
am
is
the conservative warrior, and I support your tax cut.
Yeah.
If you don't build the wall, brother, I'm gonna go get Hulk Hogan, and I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna shake the ropes on Mexico and throw Hogan in there. Hulk Hogan,
Call out Tito Santana.
you and I had an epic battle where we flew over the Atlantic Ocean and destroyed the whole island of Puerto Rico. And I will never fix it, Hulk Hogan. They called it Katrina, but it was the conservative warrior. The warrior. All my little warriors will goose step right to the polls and vote for me, the conservative warrior. If you even think about voting for Medicare for all, the conservative warrior will show up and shake the ropes and gorilla press slam you back to California. My Space Force will pick up all the warriors, take them to Mars and Jupiter, and bring them back to Earth to vote in 2020 for the conservative warrior.
so ridiculous. Well, he's certainly got my vote if I would have been living in Florida after that ad.
What is a scarier place to live? The Panhandle of Florida or parts unknown?
It's the same thing, I think.
Parts unknown is in the Panhandle. I plan to never reveal this, but parts unknown is actually Tallahassee, Florida. I love the Cracker Barrel right outside Tallahassee, brother.
It's the parts you'd rather not know.
Parts better left unknown. Get the chicken fried steak. Say the warrior sent you for 10% off and a free cup of coffee. Even the conservative warrior does not have access to his little conservative warrior because they are locked up behind chain link fences. Pay no attention to the ICE agent
telling them to disrobe. He's just a conservative warrior. Listen up, Latin America. You cross over into the conservative warriors land. I will take your baby and I will fly it all the way to Nebraska, and you won't see him for 40 days.
Rest in peace.
Lots of fun. Oh, he's dead? I didn't know.
What?
Well, on the inside.
Can't imagine that someone with that temperament would pass away at such a young age.
Well,
So even
Grandmaster Sexay had a much chiller temperament.
that's right.
Nikolai Volkov, that
Oh.
truly affected
That was
me,
very
hearing the
sad.
passing of Nikolai. What's crazy is that he went in for a checkup and he had to, the doctors told him he had to have bypass surgery, and he refused to have the surgery, and a month later he died.
Oh,
Wow, how old was he?
70.
stubborn.
He was pretty old.
Uncle Nikolai.
Yeah, full life. Would you say that?
Wow, my throat hurts. Wait, what was it? It's from all the warrioring.
Oh, I thought from all the kernels in the popcorn.
Yeah, I didn't notice till you fucking had to say that my throat hurts. You triggered me.
The conservative warrior will trigger all snowflakes with their avocado toast and their mocha frappuccino. The conservative warrior wants all his little warriors to listen to the lobster Jordan Peterson and clean their room and wash their penis so they can get laid. Conservative warrior is very mad at Facebook and YouTube for banning Alex Jones, the true info warrior. The heat in this room is from the conservative warriors and not man-made global warming, which does not exist. The conservative warrior will seek out all gay frogs to ensure there are no homosexual.
You can say homo. It's a character.
I am no character. I am the conservative warrior.
There's a snowflake behind the mask.
Homosexual.
Homosexual.
While we're on the topic of politics, Metal Injection, we have a very split base, although majority Democrat. I looked up the stats. That was
stats,
exciting.
Wait,
But anyway,
that's a stat you can actually look up on your website?
Yeah, it's like scraped by other, like internet wide bots and stuff.
there's a
right?
service. Yeah, there's a service. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but when you're on the internet, you're being tracked.
Oh my god.
It's crazy.
Ugh.
But anyway, so I posted this video, or a writer actually posted, Cody Davis posted this video, and it's footage from Donald Trump's Hollywood star being vandalized. Somebody took a pickaxe one day, went to Donald Trump's star, fucked that shit up, destroyed it,
Right.
and then called the cops and called himself
really?
Himself in.
yeah, turned himself in.
Wanted the credit.
And what's crazy about it, what's funny about it, actually, is
Is
that
that
the person,
Donald Trump's star got destroyed?
well, that for sure.
That's the first.
The
thing.
person who bailed him out was the first person who vandalized Donald Trump's
That's teamwork.
star and got arrested, or turned himself in.
Good praxis.
Anyway, so we we posted this video because someone put slow heavy metal music to the footage of the star being destroyed, and it's wonderful. It fits very
Is
well.
it the ballad or the heavy?
Yeah, I was about to
It's
ask.
the heavy one.
Oh, okay.
And what's funny is that on Metal Injection, the comments were like, "Hey man, let's keep the politics out of metal.
Shut
Let's
up.
keep it." Here's a few comments. The pathetic mainstream media left-wing politics promoted on Metal Injection is the worst aspect of the site. Everything else I like. So,
I like.
Drama queens think they're raging against the machine or something. Big political babies.
Isn't that what that guy's doing? Like by raging against the left-wing evil media?
Yeah.
Don't reason with them, Darren.
Yeah,
they can't stand it.
By your logic.
So, whoever says rock and roll and politics should be separated is a communist. Sorry, goons, but metal equals politics. I guess this is a trolling thing. If somebody taped Hillary's conversations, had she become president and done this, they'd be crying foul. Who's they?
I'm part of Metal Injection.
They'd call it an invasion of privacy or some shit. Hypocrisy is more than just a band.
I think they should give Hillary Clinton a star so we can jackhammer it. Actually,
yeah. And then, but now there were a lot of people in the comments that were sensible that like so much of metal. Here's a comment. So much of metal is about smashing the established power structure.
That's what I was gonna say.
And not building anything in its wake. Just destroy the establishment and let the ruins burn. So of course this belongs here. A guy smashed a useless piece of metal that props up the powers that be. That's metal as fuck.
A useless piece of metal that represents a useless 310-pound Ziploc bag full of Wendy's grease. What? But my point is like, why would you? You're a metal fan. How pompous is it to go, I think smashing things is wrong. We shouldn't do it.
Well,
we shouldn't break things.
They said the same thing when Dimebag's grave was desecrated.
Yeah, it's so like, it's so lame. It's like, wouldn't you be, even if you like Donald Trump, it's like, oh, somebody broke something. Like, look, why does that upset you so much? What a pussy. What a bunch of fucking pussies.
Aren't these Trump supporters also like very against the Hollywood elite? And this is a Hollywood landmark that's been vandalized. So
well, so here's a response to this comment. I would make a counter argument that so much of metal is not about the established power structure, that it's only a small fraction. But okay, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of the celebrity culture at all, but think about this. And this makes no sense. When you seemingly have almost all of the establishment and media going against one person, whom do you think the real villain is?
The real.
So he's saying
Hulk
because
Hogan, motherfucker. The real villain.
He's saying because everyone. First of all, I love this. Everyone against Trump.
He won
fallacy.
an election.
Yeah, like
who's like a few million that like
not everyone against.
Fox News certainly is not against him.
Yeah,
they are sometimes. I feel like they're in the never Trumper zone. Sometimes.
Depends if you're watching the news portion of the day or the entertainment.
It really did. Like there are certain personalities that kiss Trump's, like Fox and Friends is all the way
and
up.
Hannity and
but Shepard Smith and Chris Wallace.
There's like a split, just like there's a split in the real Republicans. There's a split between the Fox people.
But anyway, it's very like it doesn't matter who the president was. Like like using that dumb example, if Hillary Clinton had a star, and there was someone that went and smashed it, and
they'd be jerking off in the comments.
metal music, we'd write about it. Like
and they love it. Someone would complain
if it was a Bernie Sanders star, and it did it. We'd write about it like
if it was a Bernie Sanders star. Like, you think I'm gonna lose sleep getting upset that somebody broke a fucking? I'd say, oh, that's stupid.
Yeah,
that's it. The end. I'm done.
Yeah.
Neither would Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't want the
wouldn't
star.
give a shit.
He'd rather donate that money to like.
He'd probably support the person who broke the star for president, or shortly after they broke it.
Speaking of Bernie Sanders, I noticed a weird thing in the news this week. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she hasn't yet actually won her congressional seat. I mean, it seems like a foregone conclusion, but she hasn't actually done it. But yet she's already going around the country with Bernie Sanders campaigning for other people. Isn't that sort of putting the cart before the horse?
I think she's just that popular.
But she has all this publicity, so she's trying to prop up other people that have the same issue to get them on the news, to get them all the to give them a rub off of her publicity.
It just feels weird to me.
I also like that Bernie is associating with her, because Bernie is really been saying and doing a lot of shit that I don't like lately.
Like what?
Like propping up Israel, and he would not commit to abolishing ICE.
He
says
eventually
we need to reform ICE. We need to.
he eventually
they-
walked back the
right.
statement.
He got
did
pressured
eventually
into
say
it.
But hey, he said
That's good. That's what you want.
He
Politicians.
did actually. He was one of the people that were like, "Oh, we need civility" or whatever. He was saying that. Like, I'm like, no, we don't.
But I mean, bro, he's still by far the best, like prominent, most left major national candidate. Like, I'm not really shitting on him, but for him to be like latching onto her tells me that he's like being drawn in the right direction. You know?
And also, she is like, it is a majorly Democratic district. So
I know, but even still, I feel like you shouldn't get to campaign for other. What you still have a campaign going on. You haven't won your seat yet.
she's campaigning for herself as well, though.
She's just tireless, man. She takes care of her shit, and then she's all around the country doing other stuff.
It seems, I don't know. It just seems like giving the guy a shot at the title belt after he's been in the company for 3 weeks.
She's only going there talking, like saying this guy's awesome or whatever she says.
But who is she?
She has her platform out there. People know.
She's a candidate that people like. She has a voice,
but she has done literally zero so far.
But it's
the voice with zero behind
she
it. She
beat like a 15-year.
Yeah, but what has she like actually done? She's not in office to have done anything yet.
Right, but she's saying what her beliefs are.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just weird to me. I think like actually get the job first and do something.
But so she shouldn't be doing anything. Like, what should she be doing right now? That wouldn't be
in New York campaigning.
She does that as well.
Okay, then just do that.
But she doesn't really need. Well, so that's the rest of the time is wasted. Then she
shop for furniture for your office.
But wouldn't it be more helpful to the cause to help get other people into Congress that could all vote similarly on the same issues?
Well, we'll see how that works when the elections happen. If it actually helped or not.
Well, I mean,
but you're saying it's weird, but this is how you do it.
But even if you lose, I think it's worthy to get that shit out there. Like, I don't want to be like the Democrats where they go, oh, well, the Republicans are in power, so we don't have to say any good things about any topics or anything. Like, I like the fact that you pound these things over and over and over and over again, even if in cases where you lose, you still put that shit in the water for people who do agree with you, and it can promote it.
Isn't it better to win, though?
Of course it's better to win, but
she's almost guaranteed to win.
I'm not saying her. I'm saying all around the country.
So she's trying to help them win by using her newfound popularity to get behind people that may not have had that prominence.
I know.
And
it just
also, I
still
think
seems weird to me that like it could be such a meteoric rise to like just being that person that now you could you've had your shine for 3 seconds and you already have enough of it to put on someone else.
Well, that's more on the media though.
Yeah,
that's not her fault.
But all of this stuff that she's doing is it's not of substance. Like, it's for promotion of getting someone a job so they can do substance. So it's personality based. So she has now this cult of personality that's developing around her, for once around somebody that's actually awesome.
But she hasn't done anything yet to be awesome other than talk.
All right, I agree with you, but I mean, well, if that's not really true. She was like a community organizer and stuff before she got into politics. So she's done some stuff. She hasn't done it in government.
Yeah.
But I mean, people trust her. People like her. What's wrong with?
But also, I think that's part of a movement right now that there needs to be new blood.
Right.
And it's been so long since there has been a sort of new face of the Democratic Party like this that people are excited.
That's
true. I feel like, but I think that's part of it. Like that we're so desperate for new blood that we're like the first one that comes along is like Jesus Christ resurrected.
But like, what's wrong with her?
There's nothing wrong or right with her. She hasn't done anything yet. That's my point. Like, get in office and do some shit. And
but I think it's worth it. It's worth something to hear someone saying the things she's saying, which are like almost like verboten in U.S. politics.
But Bernie Sanders has been saying all of them forever.
Not really. She's to the left of Bernie Sanders.
And I think she does a much better job of explaining her position on issues. And, like, look, she is much more attractive than Bernie Sanders. Like, Bernie Sanders is like an old curmudgeon, and she's a young, very well-spoken, attractive
people
woman.
Are going to vote for her because they want to smash?
No, I'm saying it's easier for her to captivate the audience to get across her message.
I think it's just good to use everything that you have at your disposal. Like, I don't think people should be like, oh, well, I haven't won a seat yet, so I don't deserve to be out here on the campaign trail. No, good. Go speak as much as you can. Be on Stephen Colbert as much as you can.
Like Trump still going around?
Yeah,
he's the president. He's actually won an
holding
election and is in
rallies.
office.
Yeah, but why does he need to be doing that? That's all.
Because that's the only place he could go where people like him.
Yeah, that's well.
He's a
I don't
lunatic.
know,
Are we
man.
really saying, well, if Trump can do it, so can she?
That's
No, what I'm saying is that the fact that he does that is not what makes him bad. What makes him bad is his policies.
Yeah.
I think people should really look at Trump and study what he did and how he won and use that, but for good things.
Well, not everybody has Vladimir Putin's phone number.
Oh, come on. That's like a discussion shutter downer. Now. There's
I
no
guess.
way that's gonna.
You've got Trump's lawyer this week coming out saying collusion isn't illegal. I mean, what's next? They're sort of setting up.
Do we really want to go
collusion.
open this can of worms, or do we want to move on? Because that's going to be a half.
We've been talking about it for a
discussion.
few minutes, but like, what? How did the Russians get Trump elected? Just simple question.
Hasn't it been established that they
No,
interfered
let's
in,
let's
propaganda
assume
on
nothing has been
social
established.
media and they hacked the Democrats' emails and all of this stuff. You don't think that had any impact on people's votes?
Impact how? Like, like I'm gonna ask dumb questions, but please.
Like
humor
people
me.
seeing those Democratic emails and be like, you know what, fuck this, I'm not going to go vote.
Well, I
But-
think those emails are things that we should have known anyway that were kept from us because
It's
they,
privacy.
But I
do you-
think those are things that our government transparency laws failed to do, and that our media failed to do by covering these things. So I don't really care if Poland or Russia or anybody release them. That's not the point. I'd rather be more upset about what was actually in the emails than worrying about who released them. Like that's some kind of
And also,
affront
if
to
it was a
what's
different-
in those emails is much more of an affront to our democracy than like a Russian hacker or whoever. That doesn't bother me
But also,
nearly as
though-
much as Hillary Clinton.
But also,
being
though,
an
so
unethical
if
piece of
it
shit.
like Hillary Clinton was not as exciting of a candidate to have. Like, how do you lose to Donald Trump? Like now, it just seems whatever. So if, like, for example,
She did win the popular vote.
She won like the 8th smallest popular vote margin in history to like a fucking Nazi that admitted raping people. Like that's not
She
really
didn't campaign
that's
in
not
those-
really a good like backup for her case. I don't
But
think
it is a fact that she won the popular vote.
she did. It is a fact
And
that
it is a fact that Russia colluded with, or it's looking more and more like a fact that a foreign power colluded with a campaign to have one side win and the other side lose.
I think
how
to
did they
get-
have one side win though? They didn't have like. I'm not going to argue that people of Russian descent may have taken out Facebook ads and made pages that
I
spread propaganda, but that doesn't win it.
people, let's
That
say
might
people
have,
with Russian IP addresses.
yeah,
let's
that
say.
might have.
That's what we know for a
that could. That's not
But
going to
what
win an
about, like,
election. That
the
might
fact
sway
that they
somebody's
did
opinion.
that? Like, how do you feel about that?
I feel
just the
I
fact that-
don't
Well,
feel
some of
like
those swing states she lost by like a fucking thimble full of votes. You don't.
So
think
isn't
enough
that
of them
more
were
on her though for
But
not
you don't think
campaigning in those?
both things contributed?
I don't think that. I think that.
But okay, here's the thing.
All right,
What's
go
the
ahead, Rob.
difference
I keep
between
stepping on Rob.
What's the difference? I'm trying. Like, I think we're doing a great job of being as civil about this as possible right now, which is why I'm not like we should
Except
move on.
all the yelling.
I always yell.
But like, so what is the difference if a Russian person created a blog with negative comments about Hillary Clinton, and if somebody
'Cause they were
actually
pretending to be
but-
Americans.
Okay,
It was
but okay. So
manipulation.
what's the difference if it's someone
And it's-
pretending to be an American posting this blog criticizing Hillary Clinton, or just someone from Kansas who wrote a blog criticizing Hillary Clinton?
Would that be swinging the election?
Would that be swinging the election if there were a bunch of people that created?
American swinging an American election is just an election.
But it's not. But the point of that whole.
What are we even fucking talking about? This is absurd.
What are we talking about? I think it's absurd. I completely
I think
agree. This is why I didn't want to go
Here's
into
the thing.
it.
No. I think we're like the argument that we're making is like, so what if they created like, how did they? Wouldn't there have to be something in the things that they created to sway?
They
opinion?
hacked somebody's fucking email. They didn't hack the Republicans and release that too. That right there on its own.
But the
it's
things
enough.
that they released in those emails were like true and damaging things that they wanted to cover up.
So then let's see the Republicans' emails
I'm not
too and see
arguing
which
with you.
is
If
more
we did,
damning.
if we
Also,
saw the
though-
Republicans' emails too, I'd be very happy with that too. I'm not like saying that it's bad to release Republican.
The other
emails.
thing, they hacked the emails, right? Like, it's not like they went through this crazy intense process to hack the email. They
Why are you making excuses? It's still a foreign
I'm not
adversary
making-
doing
He's
this.
not.
to
Why
our
are you
nation.
yelling?
Why are you,
though?
like, we're
This
talking
is-
calmly.
We're trying. This is
seems
why I
like
don't want to
such common
open this.
sense
No,
to me.
no.
I don't understand.
Well, then calm down, and
I'm
instead of
completely
being
calm. I just don't get it.
You're not supposed
All
to
right.
tell a person who is irate to calm down. That's like that's
Oh,
a
you're right.
trigger word.
Keep getting angry.
Okay.
We're on the same side. We're just trying. I'm
I don't
trying to
know
have
that we
this.
are.
It seems like okay, the
I am
whole
compromised by
transparency
Russia.
thing is very important for us to know,
Mhm.
but it seems like you're not really perturbed by the fact that like a foreign country hacked into.
I'm not
emails.
perturbed by that any more than I'm perturbed by our own like entities within our own country owning our democracy and rigging our elections.
I think what
I
it
think
is,
that's
I-
way,
I-
way
I didn't get
worse.
to make my point.
I think what it is that you guys are both so anti-Hillary that you don't want anything to fuck with the narrative that she cost herself the election.
She
And you just-
ultimately she did.
though.
There, okay,
It's
there we
not-
go.
Here's
Case
the thing.
closed.
Here's the thing. I
But she did.
I
cost
can agree
herself
with
the
you on all
election.
this.
All right.
I could
She
even
still
if
would've-
even if I agree with you, like okay, yes, Russia hacked John Podesta, who clicked on a random dumb phishing email that
Victim
you get
blaming, cool.
20. What do you mean victim? He's a fucking campaign manager.
Rob,
he should
calm
know how
down.
to. He should know how to use a computer.
Okay.
He should know not to fall for the most basic phishing scam.
So okay, so he deserved it. Cool. And now we have
No,
Donald
no.
Trump
He
as
should
president.
no. It's not
Cool.
that he should take some blame.
But we don't.
for
You're,
falling
He's got-
for the
he took
dumbest
plenty
phishing.
of
you're
blame.
making you're making an unsupported assertion when you say John Podesta clicked on a phishing email, therefore now we have Donald Trump, because it's very like flat, simple statement, and
I didn't say that.
it's loaded. You did. You just exactly quoted you. You said, fine, and now we have Donald Trump. So that means if he didn't
Not
click
from
on
that one specific thing. I don't even care about John Podesta.
but John Podesta's email is where those leaks came from.
And so
allegedly.
you're misinterpreting what we're saying. We're saying even if all that is true, ultimately Hillary lost. If Hillary
But
didn't have
ultimately, a
shitty,
foreign power fucked with our election. Ultimately, even over
But
the specific people
you
who were in
weren't-
the election.
But you weren't this mad about our people inside of our own government fucking with the primaries or fucking with
because
our elections.
I was fine with both candidates.
But
I
so
don't care.
if the actual thing you're
And
mad
because-
about is election rigging, you should be incensed about that. You're
No,
just
here's
incensed.
the thing.
You're
Here's the thing.
incensed that the person you wanted lost.
No,
That's what you're
here's the
incensed
thing.
about.
It's sort of like if you can say shit about your relative, but if somebody outside your
Mhm.
family does it, then it's a problem.
Uh-huh.
So if Democrats within the party are fucking with each other, whatever party politics, that always happens. That's fine. But when somebody
Why is
outside
that
the fucking
fine?
country, because that's how it's always fucking been.
so that
man.
because that so
But when another- that's like an act
other
of war, so
countries
that's not okay.
countries trying to influence another country's election is also how it's
and we
always
fight
been.
back against it typically.
So you're saying we should sink a
don't let
Russian
them
nuclear
win.
sub? Like what should
we
what
don't
should we
let
do?
them win.
What should we
don't
do
let
over-
that happen.
what
Oh,
should,
well.
so
what should we do over Facebook
What should
Well,
we do?
nothing while fucking Trump is president.
But okay, so what should we
all
do?
right,
You're
Trump,
president. What
Trump
should we
gets
do?
impeached tomorrow. Hillary Clinton becomes the president.
I don't
in a
think that
coup.
would work.
Let's just
What?
make it up. Let's just make this up.
But just
All right, forget Hillary Clinton. Trump gets impeached. There's a president who you approve of that gets to be president tomorrow. Should they launch an attack on Russia?
What
no,
should they
I don't
do?
want World War III, but you sanction the fuck out of them at least.
They're
You
already
don't-
being sanctioned.
more.
Well, what do you want? What specifically? What should we do?
Bankrupt the fucking country until Putin has to leave
But that's an
office.
act of war.
So is what they did.
Facebook memes are not 9/11. I'm sorry.
Hacking emails of political parties. I haven't mentioned fucking Facebook memes one
All
motherfucking
right.
time,
Wow,
man.
Sid, you're
It's
It's
screaming at us.
ridiculous.
Remember,
yes, I am.
remember 10
I
minutes
haven't
ago when I'm
raised
like,
my
oh, we're
voice
doing
one
great.
time.
This is my tone with my mom when I used to have to argue Fox News politics.
Can
with her.
I just
That's how I
let's
feel
let's
about you
back
two right
up.
now.
Let's back up from that point.
I
where
think
we're
that's
getting
really
stuck.
more on you that you
All
can't
right.
have a
Hold
normal
on, Rob,
political
don't
conversation.
antagonize him.
Sure.
Hold on. Let's back up from that point because I think we're getting snagged on that. When anyone said, not you, anyone in general says we had hacked emails, therefore Trump won. That to me contains the underlying assertion, which is not true, which was that Hillary Clinton suddenly became unpopular after that happened.
There's
She
plenty
was
of
like
unpopular people that won the presidency.
but nobody we had an unprecedented election where both candidates were like hovering in the 30s. That has
Okay.
never happened before.
I know.
We had two incredibly unpopular, gaffe-prone, horrible, despised warmongering. Well, their platforms were for warmongering and pro Wall Street and all this bullshit. Running against each other, like somebody had to lose. She was incredibly despised, and he did a better job of campaigning against her.
And he had another world power in his corner, and she did not.
But those are things that we should have known already. Is my point? Like, why
What
should?
about like
why
all
is?
those meetings that his like kids were setting up? with
You
those-
mean you're
those
talking about
Russians?
Donald Trump Jr.?
Yeah.
Well, I think we have a shitty electoral system, and I would agree with you. Like in an ideal world, we should not have any oppo research. But I think if you want to criminalize opposition research, then Fine. Put Donald Trump in jail and put Hillary Clinton in the next cell and put Barack Obama in the next cell because they
Nobody's
all
saying
fucking do it.
It's colluding with a foreign power.
But do you understand that? Do you understand that the people that were in that, and this is not defending Trump because I do think he's a piece of shit, and I think we would have a much better country if pieces of shit were not the two choices for every presidential election. But as long as that's the case, that is not illegal, no matter where the person is from, whether they're Russian or whatever Israel, Saudi Arabia influence our elections and our politics
if
1,000
the
times
Trump
every Tuesday.
campaign colluded with Russia to hack the Democrats' emails, people will go to prison. That is illegal.
You're conflating Russia, which is Putin sent operatives over there to meet with Donald Trump Jr. with people who are Russian. That is not the same thing.
Huh?
Not everyone from Russia
You
is
don't
a
think
Russian
the people
agent.
who did the hack were working for Putin?
I don't. Hold on. You're back in. We're talking about Donald Trump Jr. now. And no, I don't. They have not established any evidence. They haven't even presented evidence that there was a hack. That's the first thing.
Then who are all those people that were indicted?
Their indictments are not evidence. And you ever hear?
But you need evidence to indict.
Did you ever hear that? No. Did you ever hear this? The legal saying you can indict a ham sandwich.
No.
The easiest person in the world to indict is a Russian who does not live here, who will never stand trial.
So you think it's fake?
Other than a Muslim terrorist. No, I don't think it's fake. I'm saying when you have to present evidence before I believe something. That goes double when the guy who's presenting the evidence is a guy who was an architect of the Iraq War. I mean, this is the CIA we're talking about. These are people that lie for a fucking living. Like, you cannot tell me their intentions are good. They just want to protect the United States. Like, this is we've fallen. We fall
the United States.
No, it's not that it's bad. It's that you're taking it on faith that that's what they're doing, and that there's no agenda. They don't want to ramp up war rhetoric. You're taking it on faith that the CIA is telling you the truth. That is incredibly naive.
So
that's
Bob Mueller
that's how we got the Iraq War.
So Robert Mueller, you're saying, is the special counsel to start a war with Russia?
No, I'm saying that Robert Mueller needs to present evidence before I believe anything he is saying, because he is.
Well, he hasn't said a word yet.
Okay, so you can't hand me an indictment and say, look at all these facts that I have in front of me. Even
in the indictment, there was a very clear statement that said there's no evidence
yet.
We're
in this indictment, there's no evidence.
So
just
where's the
in
evidence?
this particular indictment.
there has not been any evidence
Present some
presented
evidence,
publicly
and I'll jump on
that
board
there's
your shit.
collusion. So there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but the president's lawyer is saying this week that collusion isn't illegal. Why? Why is he
he's a fucking idiot?
Right.
I'm not.
Trump also said it in a tweet today.
He's a fucking idiot. I'm not defending Trump and Giuliani.
And I'm not defending Trump. I do think that what he's marble-mouthedly saying in that statement is that what they're talking about in that instance, Donald Trump Jr. meeting in a room with Russians, is not the illegal form of collusion. To say collusion isn't illegal, it depends on how you define collusion. If you define it as Russians came to my office and offered me information about Hillary Clinton, that's not illegal, especially when the information didn't change hands. And it's not illegal when Hillary Clinton went to Russians and had sent whatever his name was, Steele, to Russia to talk to Russian people, Russian agents, to get information about Trump. That's not illegal either. It's shitty and scummy, but it's not illegal. Like, I don't see how that's illegal. Like, who's going to want, how can you put someone in jail for that? What's the legal precedent? Has anyone ever gone to jail for that?
I don't know that anyone's ever been caught doing it.
Like, not presidents, but anybody. Has anyone ever been caught doing that?
I mean, treason.
That's not treason.
Colluding with a foreign power to infiltrate. It's like Watergate. Was Watergate not a crime?
Treason is for when we're at wartime. We're at war with an enemy that's attacked us. That's what treason is.
That hack counts as an attack from an enemy.
So now you're back to calling a hack, which is also not proven yet, an act of war. That's requires a response. Like, if we're at war with Russia, what happens next? We go start sinking subs. Like, this is very dangerous rhetoric we're using here.
This isn't a war with bombs and tanks and stuff. It's a 21st century war.
It's 21st century war. So what do? We send them a virus? Like, what do we do?
No, we hack their elections now. We get Putin unelected.
We already did that in 1993. How do you think we got Yeltsin? It was on the cover of Time magazine. Like, Yanks to the rescue.
So bad.
So it's okay when we do it to other countries.
Yeah, because I live here.
Okay. Well, then you're not against it in principle. Like, there's no principle.
I'm against people fucking with my country.
Okay. Got it.
I live here.
Sid's the patron. The
And
resident
also,
patron of
I
our-
at that point still had family in Russia, so I'm allowed to be okay with what we did.
There we go, folks. I think that's a good place to curb that
No, I
convo.
think the good place was about 8 minutes ago.
No, it was okay.
Let's
It's
all
okay.
sit and bond over a bowl of holodiets.
I think it's good
you
because
just
I
ruined
feel
it,
like
Noah.
nobody really has that kind of conversation. Like we're all on the left side of the table. We would say, Sid, would you say you're on the left?
I'm furthest to the left from where I'm sitting.
Technically,
right now, by far.
Well, to me, my
You
left.
mean
Darren
positioned
is,
at the table?
Darren is
okay.
at my left. Like I'm sitting up parallel to you. So,
But there's
my
more
left
people
and
on
right
my
is-
side of the table, so we're
is
the dominant
opposite.
side.
Okay, you might be the dominant
Well,
side, but I'm
Rob's
the top. Yeah, thank you.
So
And I'm the left.
But so I don't think there is this conversation with people on the left who have disagreements about this. So I think
Stuff.
that's good.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
And I'm
I
curious-
like having these kind of arguments.
And I'm curious what our listeners think about this actually as well.
they
Like where
all
what-
feel
what-
really uncomfortable. It's like their parents fighting.
I don't think we were. I don't think we got that bad. I don't know.
Anybody
I
saying
didn't feel
anything in the
uncomfortable
Discord?
at any
What's-
point.
what's
I think it was the no one's mentioning it.
Oh.
I think it was the probably the most civil we've talked about that, but it still got pretty loud.
I like it. I like getting heated. It's all love.
Yeah, I would
still
never
love-
hate you, Sid.
Yeah.
Just think slightly less.
That's fine.
Stop.
Okay.
What? It's
Don't
fine.
speak for me.
I'm
please.
just kidding. It was a joke. It was a
Do we have
joke.
any voicemails or emails or anything else just to cleanse the palate?
Do we have any voicemails?
What you said.
Are you gonna rub these voicemails on your palate?
Or didn't you have like drops or something?
I had a few. Yeah, you want to hear them?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
These are old drops that. Hold on a second. These are old drops that I found. It was like a packet of drops that we got, but I imported all of them except for the Zach drops. So there's a bunch of Zach
Oh.
drops.
Zach Amico.
Zach
who-
Amico, some semi-regular guest on the show.
Yeah, also
Still
neighbor.
alive?
Yeah, of course he is.
Here they
I
are.
don't know, of course.
Now we may have played them the first time through, so I don't know. But even if we did, it was a while ago.
Jerk off session while I get my balls sucked.
I'm into that.
You're out of dick. I let him set the rat trap off on my dick.
Ouch.
The amount I take my dick out,
He loves talking about his dick.
These are all dicks so far. Here's one that's not. Well, maybe.
Dirty dick.
It may be.
and it was like I put my dick in battery acid.
Yeah, it just said battery acid. I was a little 50-50 on that.
If I'm catching brains at this point, I got to take it out.
Okay.
I wasn't get my dick pierced and not immediately have sex with somebody.
Wow, that's amazing. Like literally
Everything's about a dick.
every single one out of 7 of those was about dick in some way. The only one in which he didn't say the word dick was catching brains.
If I'm catching brains at this point, I got to take it out.
Which is about an act performed on his dick.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it referred to his dick.
Pretty crazy. Well, there you go. Those are the drops.
Little dick for ya.
Oh, what?
He's considered a blue comedian.
Neutron Noah bringing
That's-
you the
Ah!
dick clips
Oh.
on Metal Injection Livecast Radio.
You're the Serena Altschul of view porn.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I
You
was
can
She
put that
doesn't
on
know
your
what
bio.
you porn is.
That was too many. No, of course I do.
Serena Altschul was a.
She was like the she was like the Kurt Loder
She's the-
successor.
The poor man's Tabitha Soren.
Yeah.
Oh, she was
Neutron
like
Noah.
post Tabitha.
Yeah.
Things
took
are
over
cooling
Tabitha.
down after a debate between Sid and 3D.
And Rob.
And,
Rob was in it more than I was.
Oh yeah, Rob shouting.
So
Remember
let's start
back-
over, Neutron Noah. Hold on.
Remember back when the big political question was if Bill Clinton wore boxers or briefs? Remember when that
Yeah.
was a thing? Remember that simpler
Yeah.
time?
You know,
And I also remember when he was fucking up all the media companies by
Right.
allowing monopolies.
I think that's I heard someone say almost the same thing the other day about Obama. Like, remember we had Obama and like the biggest controversy was what kind of mustard he had. But that's like because nobody covered any of the shitty things that he did. Like,
yeah, all the
nobody-
presidents do shitty things.
But let's not say that it's equal.
No.
No.
Back
Hint.
up. I did not
No,
say
no,
that
no, 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 no,
Every
no, no,
president
no, no,
does
no,
shitty
no,
things,
no, no.
yes, but
I didn't say it's equal. I do not in any way. I would not in any way say it's equal. I think Trump is by far the worst mutation of the strain that we have as presidents in this country. But I do think the silver lining of Trump being so shitty is that he calls attention to this stuff. It's like
people are paying more attention than they've ever had.
Who never paid attention to politics, even under Bush, who was
me.
horrible, are now paying attention because he's so out of the norm of what a president is. Like he's so crude and vulgar. He looks like a fucking idiotic raccoon dipshit.
His new like promo video? What? I saw it because Dave Hill replied to it. It's basically like a montage of Trump and like the Capitol Hill and
they put these out every few days,
and like
you know, all he's good at
with like little Kim in North Korea and how like Trump did all this thing and blah blah blah.
Little Kim was the father.
Yeah, little Kim Jong-il.
Yeah.
But like just because he's so repulsive in like every way, I think it gets people into looking at these things. But you also have people that never did this before, so they think, oh, everything shitty about the U.S. started on January 20th, 2017.
That's a fair point.
Which I think is dangerous because, you know, we can't let the guy that comes in and replaces Trump, that's the savior, to be like another Obama.
Also, I think a big issue with the outrage is there's lack of follow-up. Like, you could be outraged about something for a day or two, and then the media narrative kind of moves on from it.
Because there's always something new, outrageous happening. It's impossible.
Right? No, I
spinning plates.
I don't disagree there, but like for example, with the kids being separated from their parents,
about that a good amount. I feel like
MSNBC
and CNN. I still see it most days.
But there's also things that get way too much coverage that should get zero, like Stormy Daniels and fucking like. What was the Playboy bunny that he banged?
Karen McDougal.
Well, that might be his undoing though, with the tape and everything now, which it is really pretty. Like Michael Cohen, I've hated him for so long. I feel like like when you discover a band before anybody else, and then everyone gets on the bandwagon, you're like, hey, that's my bandwagon. Like I hated Michael Cohen like the moment he had that, even like when he was doing interviews on Trump's behalf during the election.
Sure most people already hated him by then.
No,
like with the whole thing with the polls. When he's
like,
what polls? What polls?
Yeah, what polls?
All of them. Like 5 of them. Like,
all of them.
Oh,
yeah. That was. But anyway, so
first hit single.
It is pretty great.
Demo.
Yeah, it is pretty great that like he was the one that got caught, and like Trump immediately, obviously, like dumped him like a sack of shit.
Well, that's what he does to everybody.
Yeah, but then he was like, hey, it's kind of a mistake for you to dump me because I'm the one that cleaned up all your fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So now he has all this evidence. And so I do kind of love that. Yeah. That is pretty great.
Yeah.
But I will contend, now this is something, Sid, you and I, we don't have to get into this, but I think Pence would be a million times worse. Like, I don't want Trump to be impeached.
Right.
Just
we had
yet.
This discussion, and I think if it was Pence who won the election, it would be worse. But given that he would be he's the vice president under someone who got impeached under these circumstances, he would be completely neutered to do anything major, especially after,
I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Right.
I think
what things did Gerald Ford do after he took over for Nixon?
Completely different.
Why?
I feel like, first of all, Ford wasn't even elected. Pence was elected to be the vice president. Ford was the Speaker of the House. Like, he got thrown because Agnew resigned also.
Fair.
He got thrown into the job. But on top of that, I think we have a situation that, like back then, I feel like we still had some semblance of a democracy. Like, I feel like now, like, just military industrial complex just basically controls our country. And the reason they want Trump out so goddamn bad is because he'll sign 90% of this ghoulish shit that they want to do. But like that 10%, when he's sitting on the crapper eating a sack of White Castles and an accidental good thing falls into his brain, and he goes, hey, let's take the troops out of North Korea. And they go, what the fuck did he just say, this fucking guy?
We had troops in North Korea?
Not in North Korea, on the North Korean border.
Have we actually done that yet, though?
No, we didn't, because they came out the very next day and they were like, Mike Pence even said, he was the one that made the statement. He's like, the president misspoke. We're not doing that. Don't worry. Like, they immediately
same thing happened with the NRA when he
yes.
was like, I'm gonna after that shooting where he was like, I'm gonna enforce this thing, and then the next day he's like, actually, I'm not gonna. After meeting
but
with
then him saying that and then never actually following up on it. So what's the difference?
Because they're preventing him from following
Yeah.
up on it. Like I feel like he gets the mistaken impression that he's the president every few weeks, and just by the fact of him being like a whim-controlled, senile hunk of dog poop, he says things on a whim accidentally that are
The
good.
broken clock.
Yeah, he also like we need to lower pharmaceutical drug prices for all Americans. And they all, what the fuck? Like 9,000 phone calls went off in Washington. What does fucking idiot say? So if you get rid of him, you have Pence. Pence will not do that. He's a polished politician.
But
he
Trump
reads the
doing that
teleprompter.
doesn't actually lead to any. It never actually happened. So what's really the
Because
difference?
they don't even want that in the water. They don't want it to be seen that a Republican president can do like something that even appears to be compassionate. You know what I mean? Like I think they want the guy that reads off their script, and that's it.
Well, Bush was that guy, but he did compassionate things once in a blue moon.
Like what?
He did
like helping cure AIDS in Africa.
I
like
think
that initiative is a huge deal. You know how many lives he saved by doing that? He didn't have to do that. You think Republicans gave a shit about that?
I think
he saved lives legitimately.
Well, he also ruined and ended a lot of lives as well.
I
so
never
maybe
said
it,
he didn't, but
maybe
most
it evens
Republicans
out.
would do that without the saving part. He at least did the saving.
So partial credit.
Yeah. So, not saying he was great, but really my point with this little thing is just I miss a time when I didn't have to think about politics every fucking day.
Well,
that's all, and that's not an option now.
Not
I want to go back
necessarily
to
thing.
Every
really
day-
though, like, would it change if you like? Why can't you not pay attention?
There's too much going on. It's
But like how
Sid is
how
a very anxious person.
right?
He
But
has-
how has your life been affected by Trump being president? You're a fucking white guy living in New York. You're all right.
So are you?
Yeah. So
all right. So
we're fine.
I know people whose lives are affected.
I think what my question would be is like, why is it suddenly that we have to pay attention to it now? Like a lot of this stuff was at an 8 and Trump turned it up to an 11. It's not like it came out of thin air. You know what I mean? Like we were still holding people in cages at the border.
More people were getting more rights. It was slow, but it was still trending in the right direction, and now it's going in the opposite direction.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know, but you're not a gay person who wanted to get married. You're not a trans person.
No.
who wanted to
I'm
use the
not
proper
saying that
bathroom.
some.
For a lot of people, a lot of important.
Whoa,
things
calm down, dude. I'm not saying that some people didn't get more rights. I think other people are getting less and less rights. I think black people have less rights in this country than they had 20 years ago or 30 years
How
ago.
so?
They're getting choked out openly by the police in the street.
That was always happening.
Yeah, but the militarization of the police force has been climbing.
Yeah, the amount of
the only-
military
I
style
think
weapons the cops had 20 years ago was
they're
not
not
as many.
They're not choking them out with military weapons. They're choking them out with
All
their
right,
hands
but-
or with.
Yeah, but then
or
there's
they're
also
shooting
the
them with
tear
regular guns.
gases.
The only difference is that now we have cell phone cameras to film the shit that they've been doing.
I
all
don't.
along.
I don't agree with that. I think I think there is also more awareness of it, but I also think the police are very demonstrably increasing their authoritarianism from what it used to be. They're more able to get away with it because they have the backing of the media now. The media is completely corporate controlled in a way that it wasn't 30 years ago. Like there was pushback against this stuff. Like when there were protests and people used to get mowed down, you didn't have like 47 Sinclair stations all across the country saying that protesters were rioting and they deserve to get like, look how fast Occupy Wall Street got fucking labeled as like a crazy left-wing like bullshit movement immediately, like that very night.
Well, if they
when
had
first...
like leadership or a coherent message, maybe it would have.
Oh, that's fine. But when like 50 stations around the country all read off the same script saying they're a bunch of like unwatched hippies that don't know anything about
economy.
But those stations are a lot of preaching to the choir anyway.
I
They're
look
like the local version of Fox News.
all I'm saying is I think things have been shitty and declining for a long time. I think Trump is like the culmination, the worst of it. But I think
so. When was like the best time?
The most recent good time I would think was probably FDR. But
Jesus Christ! Do you
like,
think it's been declining ever since then?
I think.
What about you? What about you? So what was the best?
I
time?
think FDR
a
is
couple years ago.
the last closest thing to a good president.
When was the
Jesus
best in
Christ.
your lifetime?
Carter was okay. Carter did some shit that I don't agree with.
That
too,
is
but that's-
wow! I did not think you had such a dark view of recent
I mean,
history. Holy shit!
we've had basically Republicans masquerading as Democrats for the last 25 to 30 since Reagan.
You expect too much perfection, man.
I mean,
it's just you
have to really sit down and look at what Clinton and Obama did. They're not just, oh, they were good but not perfect. I mean, they're basically, the two of them are responsible for rolling back so many Wall Street restrictions and like media restrictions and conglomeration of media and deregulation of all this different stuff. Like they're why Republicans are allowed to run rampant now.
As I said, nobody's perfect, but a lot of people have way more rights and better lives because of things they did, because of Obamacare, because of legalizing gay marriage,
Obamacare is
stuff
a
like that.
huge failure. Obamacare is why we don't have single payer now.
We didn't have either before.
Right. We didn't have either before. It's a little shitty Republican incremental increase that throws bones to the HMOs, to the medical insurance lobbyists, that he had control of both houses of Congress and the White House. He could have passed anything that he wanted to if he had any backbone. And he said, no, we're going to pass something that protects the rights of insurance companies.
Okay.
It's an enormous failure.
I'm going to sleep.
That was checked out. But okay.
That was doing things a little bit better, less shitty than Republicans is not helping anybody. Like, we have to actually go left. If we don't actually go left in this country, we're going to just keep going in this cycle of Trump then slightly less bad than Trump.
But I did just list a bunch of people that were actually helped.
Okay, but I didn't say that every single thing that each one of these guys did was bad. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that overall things have been on a downward slope, and what a lot of the shit that Obama did led to Trump. They gave Trump almost unilateral spying powers. Obama signed it into. Do you know that Trump had already won the election and Obama signed a bill saying that the president has so and so spying powers raised to the nth degree after he left office? He knew Trump was coming. Why do you hand that off to him?
I still can't get over the fact that you think FDR was the peak of American life.
The peak? I don't know.
That's what I asked. Like,
I feel like there's no good way to answer that question, because I just think that this is a really.
I think what Darren's saying is FDR was the last fully honorable president.
No, I don't want to say that either, because he's also
he couldn't fucking walk.
Well, that's
so easy to be honorable when people control where you go.
No, he's also the guy that put like Japanese people into internment camps based on racism. But
that was him.
Yeah, but no, my point is, like, he's the closest thing we had to socialism in this country.
But the country wasn't at its best then. I'm saying, when was the country the closest?
Well, how are you defining best? That gay people had rights, then it's the best now.
Yeah.
But is that the only thing that matters?
The most people having the most
feel
rights.
Like this is an argument that, like, centrist people make a lot, that, like, as we can bomb the shit out of every country, we can persecute journalists, we can blow shit up, we can sell out everything to Wall Street, but it's okay if gay people can get married. No, of course it's good that gay people can get married, but that cannot be like the crux of what we fix in this country. Like, that's a good thing, but I feel like they use it sort of as a Trojan horse to say, look, we're the party that cares about gay rights, and then they're persecuting people all around the planet. Like, that's not how our country should operate, and I think it's a scam.
Okay, I think that's a good.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to be long-winded.
No, it's okay. But I'm curious if you didn't tune out yet. What'd you think of this conversation?
Don't
give our listeners some fucking credit.
I want to go on record.
I think this is a great conversation.
I want to go on record and say, do you really want to talk about this? And you all said yes. So then don't get mad at me for having.
Nobody's mad at anybody. I don't know. I'm not mad.
Just said if you're still listening. Maybe we just did half-hour boring bullshit.
Oh, I thought it was great. But good. Like, Noah was over it, so like there are people like Noah.
I just heard the same thing being repeated over and over, and I agree with what everyone is saying.
I don't know how that's possible.
Way to take sides.
You agree with what everyone is saying?
Goddamn centrist.
I agree from part. Neutron Noah over here.
Neutral Noah is more like it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Pretty neutral on this topic. Darren made some great points. Rob, he chimed in pretty well.
Darren was making points great again.
How about just the Trump level? I think it was very clear from everything I just said that I love
I
Trump.
just don't.
When I
listen
called him
to
a 310-pound bag of Arby's grease.
You said Wendy's.
Oh,
If it was
Wendy's,
Arby's,
sorry.
I would have taken your hate of him more seriously. Wendy's is good.
And a senile old fuck that reads Fox and Friends website on the crapper.
He doesn't
This
read.
podcast offers something for everyone.
Oh,
But-
you missed
Yeah,
your
man.
mark. Sorry.
Fired.
All right, hold on. I'll give it to you again.
Well, Darren's the sound guy.
Get
Oh.
Gideon Yago in here. Stat.
Neutron Noah over here again. The Metal Injection Livecast offers something for everyone.
It's a paid advertisement. What is this? I tuned in for the
This
news.
is a promo, Sid.
Oh,
Get with the program.
Get with the promo.
Conservative warrior thinks all of you are ingrates because conservative warrior is a huge Donald Trump supporter. Conservative warrior thinks my taxes should be lower and Jose should go back where he came from.
What you're saying is Jose is a piece of shit?
Conservative warrior thinks that Jose Bangin is cool, but all other Jose's, not so much. The only Russian meddling that I believe in is Rob meddling with his Chinese food from chopsticks and putting it in his belly.
We're out of here. We'll see you next week. We're going to have Dave from Revocation sitting in on the entire episode, and we're going to play another game of Death or No Death. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Hope you can tune in. Please make sure to follow us on social media, facebook.com/Metal Injection Livecast, at MI Livecast on Twitter. And we'll be back next week for Sid, Noah, and 3D. It's Rob. Thanks.
Smell you later.